Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin. We are doing a small unboxing today. Frame set. This is a pretty unusual frame set. It's I generally get a lot of comments on this one when I put them up. So this is a Domane RSL, and everybody goes, "Oh, you mean SLR?" And no, this is an RSL. So the RSL is Trek's race version of the Domane SLR. So it's the same carbon as the SLR, but this is the version that the pros race in Paris-Roubaix. And this is the 2024, 2025, or whatever the hell year we're in at the moment. Colorway, it's the edition that the pros raced in 23. It's the consumer special edition for 24. So it's been available as a color option on the regular Domane, the SLR bike for a while, but it has only just come in the RSL. So the difference between the RSL, so there's a few differences between the RSL and the SLR. The first one is the geometry. So the head tube is smaller, the bike is a little longer. It's a race version of the Domane essentially, whereas the regular SLR is an endurance bike. This bike is also developed in the wind tunnel, so it's an actual aero frame, so you can see it's a much deeper down tube than the regular bike. In fact, what we might do is just move over here, and you can see we have the SLR version of it here. So you can see it's a deeper down tube. It's wind tunnel tested, whereas the SLR is CFD developed. So apologies to the computer people if I've gotten terminology wrong, but that's designed and tested using CFD, computational fluid dynamics, which basically is like a virtual wind tunnel. But it didn't go in the wind tunnel because aerodynamics are less important for the SLR, whereas the RSL did do wind tunnel time. So that's that one. The Domane, the Generation 4, has gone away from the seat mast system that they used to do on the Gen 3 bike. So this is a Gen 3 Domane here. The seat mast was slightly different, so the frame extended up and the seat mast popped into it. They've now gone to a regular seat post setup, but it's a flat-backed D-shaped seat post. So you can see it's not a round one. So the back of it is flat, and it's curvy at the front. And we have what's called an ISO-speed decoupler built into it here. Pop off the cover, you see. So the ISO-speed decoupler is like a little shock absorber built into the frame. Essentially, your seat tube is separate to the rest of the frame. It's mounted on a bearing system and it can flex. So you've now got a seat post with a flat back. The idea with the flat back is there's flex built into the seat post. You've got flex built into the frame and the ISO-speed. And in the SLR version, it's in the endurance geometry, which is more upright and a bit more comfortable. In the RSL, this is basically the race version of the same bike, and in the limited edition paint. And there's a way of popping this cover back in, and I'm making a bit of a pig's ear of it. Here we go. So that's the ISO-speed decoupler. Next difference between the frames is on the SLR, you have internal frame storage. So you can pop off this little door, your mini tool goes in there, your tool wrap goes in there. They don't have it fitted in this one. Little tool wrap, you pull it out, you put your spare tube and CO2 and stuff into it. You don't have that on the race version because the pros have a team car with a spare bike behind if they puncture. They don't need to stop at the side of the road and fix it like us numpties. Other differences, so it's geometry, the internal frame storage, and I think that's the main differences, unless I'm probably forgetting something. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments that I've forgotten something. The new bikes, the SLR and the RSL, are both electronic group set compatible only, so you can only run Di2 or SRAM axis. You can't use any of the mechanical group sets on it. It's 1 and 2 bike compatible, so you can run a front derailleur on it. And that's it. Trek, Domane, RSL, Team Edition, 2024, and I reckon that's probably the first one anywhere in the world to do an unboxing.